Welcome to day 2 of IBTM World. Over the past couple of days, we've seen the launch of 2 fantastic industry reports. The Global Destinations Report, launched by the Business of Events, and the IBTM World Industry Trends Report. Now I'm here with Alistair Turner and Martin Fullard to find out a little bit more about the insights within these reports and what you can learn for next year. So first off, why don't you guys introduce yourself? Because I can't remember job titles.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm Al Turner. I'm the author of the IBTM World Trends Report. I do lots of other things, but for this show, it's the IBTM Trends Report.
And I'm Martin Fullard. I'm Associate Director of News and Content at Davies Tanner and the Business of Events.
Amazing. So first off, for anyone who maybe didn't attend your sessions over the past couple of days, would you both mind giving me a little bit of an insight into what your reports contain? So I'm going to start this side again since we started for you with names.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a long report. It's an in-depth report that covers all sorts of different things. But if I was going to summarize it in a soundbite, it's essentially the way working and demographics are changing, that whereas the meeting room used to be a place to escape from the office, it's now become a place to recreate the office. And I can expand on that as much as you like, Laura, but for now, let's leave it at that one.
Absolutely. And Martin?
The Global Destination Report surveyed well over 1,000 destinations around the world just to understand the lay of the land with regards to how they're being funded, what's important to destinations in terms of legacy and the whole rest of it. There's been some really interesting findings. We can talk about that now or you can come back to it later. But essentially, one of the things I found most interesting was the extra emphasis now on legacy. Business events can't just happen in isolation of themselves. They need to, beyond the economic benefit, bring us a societal benefit. And that could be through any matrix, from healthcare to science to technology. It can't just happen in isolation of itself. There needs to be a lasting legacy. And we're not talking about heads on beds and bums on seats. We're talking about lasting societal change. Can it make a citizen's life better? Or can it change the way we teach our children? It could be anything. And I think that's what is really driving a lot of Convention Bureau around the world at the moment. And that's also reflected further in one of the other areas of the report, in which it's clear that sentiment from city, regional and national governments, there isn't an international government, regarding their business events teams. We've always had that identity crisis. Where do we fit? Are we respected? And while we're still nowhere near the top of the tree, there's definitely been an increase in how teams feel that they are regarded by their governments, and I think that's a really interesting development.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for both of you for those introductions. And I suppose the next question is there anything about the report, anything you found that really interested you or surprised you in trends? Yeah,
and actually it adds on to the work that Marty and his team have been doing, which is about the role of brands as well. For me, brands are not only the consistent, the thing that runs and drives events from delegate level to the people that organise them, to the people that support them, but actually what events are starting to doing is being the manifestation of those brand values. So we've been talking a lot about how consumers are changing, how consumers are looking for brand values to be emphasised and discussed. And that's things, natural trends from sustainability to DE&I to wellness and all those things we've talked about for a long time actually on these stages. But actually it's about brands putting them out through events, and how events have to not only extol values but actually communicate values as well. So we found really interesting data around that brand behaviour, and that comes across strongly in the report, I hope.
I'm sure it does. And same question to you, Martin. Anything that surprised you?
I wouldn't say surprised me, but I guess underlined what I felt to be true was that there's a bit of a mixed bag, half and half, on how people's convention bureaus and tourist boards funding has changed or not changed, as the case may be. So 52% of the respondents, it turns out, have actually either seen their budget stay the same or increase, but 42% have seen their budgets decrease. By how much? That's on a case-by-case basis. So those ones who have had their budgets decreased because they're having to, funds being diverted elsewhere, they're going to have to be creative. Not with creating extra funding, because their hands are going to be tied to a degree, but they have to work more with less. And I suppose that breeds innovation, really. So I guess this is going to be a real challenge for them, but creativity, no doubt, will win the day.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this quick snapshot of our 2 fantastic industry reports. If you'd like to read more on either of them, you can find the IBTM World Trends Report on the IBTM World website, and you can find the Business of Events report on the Business of Events website. So we'll make sure to put the links in with the post, or at least in the comments beneath the post, and have a great time to read.